Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome to a brand new BBC Micro Let's Play. Let's see what we have going on for this one. Well, actually, I know what's going on for this one. Just let me find it first. Alright, where are you? There you are. Cambridge ELT Software presents, from 1986, in addition to the British Council. Whoa. London Adventure. You have been spending your holiday in London. You are returning home today and must catch the first 5 o'clock flight from Heathrow Airport. Before you go to the airport, you want to buy some souvenirs for your friends at home. You have a little money left. You have to find your way around London, visit the right shops, and buy the presents you need. You will be told where you are and what you can see at each place. You will then be asked what you want to do or say. Choose what you want to do or say by using the arrow keys at the top right of the keyboard, or where it usually is in case you're emulating, because Beeb is a thing, until your choice is shown at the bottom of the screen, and then pressing return. Try it now, but be careful. There is usually only one choice, which is right for each situation. And remember, it pays to be polite. So please use things like please and thank you. It helps. Seriously. Here is an example. You are in a bank and you want to change some traveler's checks. Now, you don't have to do this example. It's there just so you can practice, but you can do it. And here are all the possible choices. I'd like to change some traveler's checks, please. That's the correct one. I'd like to change these traveler's checks into dollars, please. If you choose that one, I'm sorry, but those are dollar traveler's checks. Good to know. Change these dollars. Not polite. You'd like to change these traveler's checks. Read these carefully. Because you as in you is not implied here. Oh dear. I'd like to change some traveler checks, please. You are the one saying it. While here, you're implying that the teller would like to change the traveler's checks. Well, how would you know? Also, yeah, it's not going to work. I'd like to open a bank account, please. That's not what we're doing. I'd like to change some traveler's checks, please. Return. Yes, certainly. Yeah, you can practice there. This is a good way of realizing and knowing that you need to read things carefully. This is your shopping list. A tie, a policeman doll, a print, a statuette, a tea tray, and perfume. You can get useful information, including your shopping list, by pressing some of the red keys at the top of the keyboard. Remember that your time is limited. You must not miss your plane. Good luck. It is 9 o'clock in the morning. You have a wallet with £5 in it, 6 traveler's checks, your passport, and your return plane ticket. You are outside the British Council office in Spring Garden, and you can see the large building on the other side of Trafalgar Square. To the right, there is a kiosk in the entrance to a tube station. Now, you're probably wondering, especially if you are outside of the UK and you're somehow watching this, I don't blame you. You're probably wondering what the British Council is. Well, according to Wikipedia, the British Council is a British organization specializing in international, cultural, and educational opportunities. It works in over 100 countries, promoting a wider knowledge of the United Kingdom in the English language, and the Welsh language in Argentina. That's nice. Encouraging cultural, scientific, technological, and educational cooperation with the United Kingdom. The organization has been called a soft power extension of UK foreign policy, as well as a tool for propaganda. The British Council is governed by a royal charter. It is also a public corporation and an executive, non-departmental public body sponsored by the Foreign, Commonwealth, and Development Office, and its headquarters are in Stratford. It was founded in 1934, and in that time, it has opened a lot of offices in a lot of places. There are some controversies with the British Council, but I'm not going to go into any of them. You can look those up yourself and come to your own opinions on any of them, because if I did do that, we'd be here all day and we wouldn't have a Let's Play. So anyway, we have some commands at the top of the screen. F0, time, which shows the time. And right now it's 9:01. You have the inventory, which shows what you have. And you have the hold the button down, by the way. And it's already been established what we have. Oh, time goes in real time. Well, okay. So you need to be quick. The guidebook, if you have it, you haven't got a guidebook. And if you have a tube map, you'll be able to see it with F4. So F3 for guidebook, F4 for the tube map. We are going to go to the kiosk. You walk to the kiosk. You can see postcards, policeman dolls, guidebooks, tube maps, and carrier bags. The first thing you want to buy is a carrier bag. I'd like this carrier bag, please. That will be 5 pence, please. You pay the assistant and take your purchase. You have £4.95 left. You are still at the kiosk. And we are going to buy a tube map for 50 pence. Excuse me. Or rather, I'd like this tube map, please. That will be 50 pence, please. We pay for the tube map. Now to get the guidebook. And I'd like this guidebook, please. As opposed to, I'd like these guidebooks. You only need to buy one. So choose this one. I'd like this guidebook, please. And we'll pay for that as well. That'll be 2 pence. So, here we go. Let's look at the guidebook. Foyle's is the largest bookshop in the world. Nearest tube is Tottenham Court Road. Hamley's is a large toy shop in Regent Street. Nearest tube is Piccadilly Circus. Harrods, a high-quality department store. Nearest tube, Knightsbridge. HMV shop. HMV stands for His Majesty's Voice. It's the music shop that everyone's heard about. Sells records and cassettes of music to suit all tastes. Later it would sell CDs, of course. Nearest tube, Oxford Circus. Selfridges, a general department store in Oxford Street. Nearest tube, Marble Arch. British Museum, contains antiquities of all kinds. Nearest tube, Goodge Street. National Gallery, houses a fine selection of European painting. Nearest tube, Charing Cross. Charing Cross is where you start the game out. So, you may have noticed, when you want, and we'll notice this when we leave the kiosk, there is a large kiosk, or a large building. And if you walk to the large building, we'll be in the National Gallery. So this is where we can get stuff. This is the National Gallery. This is where we start every single time. Now to look at the tube map. There's Marble Arch, there's Bond Street, there's all these places that the guidebook told us about. Different colors are for different lines. Cyan is for Victoria, red is for Central, Northern is for, or green is for Northern, yellow is for Bakerloo, red, or blue is Piccadilly, and white is Jubilee. Charing Cross, which we start at, is all the way at the lower right corner, in case you were wondering. Heathrow Central is the airport. That's where you go to end the game when you have everything. And I believe you only have enough time until your plane leaves and you're stuck in London. So let's go ahead and leave. And now that we've seen the guidebook and the tube map, guess what? Guess what we're going to do? We're going to restart the game. So you actually want to copy down what's in the guidebook, and you also want to copy down the tube map. Nowadays we have cell phones, but these days, or back then, you could probably like just draw it with crayons or markers or colored pencils and the like. But now we're in the age of YouTube and the internet and smartphones, and therefore you could just take a picture of the tube map and you can just refer to that, which is what we're going to do. Okay. We only have so much time. So, let's start again. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. And we have things to do. You're outside the British Council office in Spring Gardens. What is the large building? Okay, we are at the National Gathering Shop. We are at Charing Cross. So, let's go ahead and walk to the kiosk. And we're going to buy some things. Now, the shopping list never changes every time you play, which is a good thing. So, once you know the shopping list by heart, you can do this super easy. Let us go ahead and buy the carrier bag. Why are we buying this again? Well, you need this to carry more things. And if you don't have the carrier bag, you're only going to be able to carry so much. Now, thankfully, a carrier bag is only 5 pence, but it can go a long way. And it will be enough for you to carry everything. I mean, you can only carry so much stuff in your hands. We won't need the guidebook, and we won't need the tube map because, well, in my case, I already have the guidebook and the tube map in front of me on my laptop right now. And we're going to buy the police doll. I'd like this policeman doll, please. That will be £2.50, please. And we have $2.45 left. Now, here's the thing. We need more money. And we need to go to a bank. This is how you find out where the bank is. You stop a passerby and ask where you can change traveler's checks. Could you tell me where I can change some... Oh. Could you tell me where I can change some traveler's checks? This is the correct one. Yes, there's a bank just around the corner. You follow the passersby directions and it's shut. It only opens between 9:30 and 15:30. So, we're going to go to the tube. We need to go somewhere anyway. You walk to the tube. You are in Charing Cross Tube Station. You can see a sign to trains at the top of the escalator. What is the time? Now that's the shopping list. What's the time? 9:12. Okay, you need to go to the ticket office first. If you go down the escalator, you will be stopped by a ticket officer. Now, here's how you can do stuff. Ask how to get somewhere. Well, we want to go to Harrods, and that's at Knightsbridge. That's the nearest tube. So, ask how to get somewhere. And that will be Knightsbridge. We could ask what the name of the station is, but we already know. Can I tell you where Knightsbridge is? Wrong way to do the sentence. The sentence is in the wrong order. This is the right order. Could you tell me how I get to Knightsbridge? Could you tell me how I get to Knightsbridge? You take the Jubilee line and change at Green Park. And yeah, you pretty much figure out that you can go there. So we're going to buy a ticket, and we're going to go to Knightsbridge. Knightsbridge, please. You pay the fare, take the ticket, and go down the escalator. We are now down to £2 5 pence. You are at the bottom of an elevator marked exit. There is a junction of tunnels. We need to take the direction that we are given, so let us go to the Jubilee line. You go down the tunnel marked Jubilee line. You are waiting for a train on the northbound platform of the Jubilee line at Charing Cross Station. A train arrives and the door opens. Get on the train. This stuff is timed, by the way. It travels through tunnels for a few minutes. It arrives at Green Park Station and the doors open. Get out. You are at the bottom of an escalator marked exit. There is a junction of tunnels. Go up the escalator. You are in a busy street outside a tube station. Nearby is a kiosk, and in the distance a large building. What is the time now? 9:29. Let's wait a little while. We have a little bit of time. We can do this. Stuff does happen in real time. Time does flow in the game, even if you're not doing anything. So, there we go. Okay, stop a passerby and ask where you can change traveler's checks. Could you tell me where I can change some traveler's checks? Yes, there's a bank just around the corner. Follow the passersby directions. You find the bank and go inside. You can see several counters. Go up to the counter marked foreign business. The bank clerk looks at you. And I'd like to change some traveler's checks, please. Now you have 6 traveler's checks worth $20 each. So we're going to change $40. The clerk gives you $29.60. You now have $31.65 and 4 traveler's checks. The more you change, the more money you'll get, but you'll have to pay more in fees the more you change. That's why I'm doing 40 right now. Now we leave. And we need to go to stop a taxi. Where do you want to go? Harrods. Harrods, please. You can ask how much the fare is, but it'll usually be random. Okay, hop in. You get into the taxi, which drives slowly through the heavy traffic. And results might be random too. The taxi stops and you get out. The taxi driver says £4, please. You pay the fare and the taxi drives off. You now have $27.65. You're on a busy street outside a large building. In the distance, the tube station and a kiosk. Walk to the large building. You walk to the large building. You are in Harrods. It is very crowded. You can see ties, perfume, soap, tea trays, tea towels, and carrier bags. We need a tie, a tea tray, and perfume. So we will approach an assistant. And we would like to buy perfume. Excuse me. Okay. I'd like this perfume, please. That will be £15, please. You pay the assistant and make your purchase. You have $12.65 left. You're still in Harrods. And let's buy a tie. I'd like this tie, please. That'll be 8 pence. You pay the assistant and take your purchase. You have $4.65 left. You are still in Harrods. Okay. Let's approach an assistant. And let us buy the tea tray. We still have some stuff. We still have enough money. I like this tea tray, please. That'll be £4. You have 65 pence left. Now we must leave. And now we have to go to a bank, which means we have to stop another passerby and ask where the bank is. And thankfully, we know what to do. We know what to ask. And we can do this. You do have to do this to find the bank. Go up to the counter. And I'd like to change these traveler's checks into dollars, please. All right. Oh, wrong one. I'd like to change the traveler's checks, please. I don't know why I picked that. Let us change 40 again. You now have 30, 35, and 2 traveler's checks. We shall leave. And now we need to look at our thing. We need a print and a statuette. And the statuette is going to be at the British Museum, which is at Goodge Street. So we're going to walk to the tube, and we're going to go to the ticket office again and ask how to get somewhere. We're going to ask how to go to Goodge Street. Could you tell me how I get to Goodge Street? You take the eastbound line and change it left Leicester Square. So, buy a ticket for Goodge Street. Goodge Street, please. You pay the fare, take your ticket, and go down the escalator. You have $29.85. Okay. We take the eastbound thing. We take the eastbound line. We wait for the train. It's open. We get on the train. It travels through tunnels for a few minutes. It arrives at Hyde Park Corner for station, and the doors open. Stay on the train. The doors close and the train gathers speed. It travels through tunnels for a few minutes. It arrives at Green Park Station. The doors open. Stay on. We're at Piccadilly. We're going to be at Piccadilly after this, I think. Piccadilly Circus. Stay on. It's Leicester Square or Leicester. I think that's how you pronounce it. We're there. Get out. And now we need to take the northern line. You go down the northern line. You're at a junction of tunnels. And we need to go north because that's where the map says we need to go. The train arrives and the doors open. Get on. Make sure that you are on the correct option before you press return. It's at Tottenham Court? No. Goodge is next. Travels through tunnels for a few minutes, and we are going to be at Goodge. So we're going to get out. And, okay. Go up the escalator. Busy street outside a tube station. Nearby is a kiosk in a large building. We're going to go to the large building. You walk to the large building. You're in the British Museum shop. It is very crowded. You can see prints, statuettes, and carrier bags. Approach an assistant. And we are going to buy a statuette. How much money do we have? $29.85. Okay. I'd like the statuette, please. That'll be £8, please. And we pay it. We have $21.85 left. All right. Now, we need to go back to Charing Cross. So, we need to go back to the tube. And we go to the ticket office again. You always want to buy a ticket to when you need to go somewhere. We are going to go back to Charing Cross because that is where the national gathering is. Charing Cross, please. We paid a fare. We now have $21.45. And we are going to go southbound because we have to go south to go to Charing Cross from Goodge Street. And when the train shows up, get on the train. Now we're going to go back to Tottenham Court Road. Stay on. You can just not do anything and it'll just go automatically. But we're going to do all the commands ourselves because we're paying attention. So we're at Leicester, and pretty soon we're going to be back where we started at Charing Cross. Get out. And now we're going to go up the escalator. We're in a busy square outside a tube station. We're going to go back to the large building. And now we are going to buy a print. Approach an assistant and buy a print. Let's check just to be sure. We have it. I'd like this print, please. That'll be $2.50, please. And we have $18.95 left. So we need to go ahead and leave, and we need to take the tube again. Thankfully, this is the last stuff we have to do. So we're going to go to the ticket office, and we're going to go buy a ticket for Heathrow Central. What's our time? 11:27. We're making good time. Heathrow Central, please. You pay the fare, take your ticket, and go down the escalator. You now have 17:45. And we need to take the Jubilee line, because that's how we're going to get on Piccadilly. Train arrives and the doors open. Get on. And we're going to stop at Green Park. We're going to get off at Green Park, and we're going to do this just like we handled Knightsbridge. Now we need to take Piccadilly line. And we need to go westbound, because Heathrow Central is to the west. Get on the train. Travel through tunnels for a few seconds, and the next place we should go to is Hyde Park Corner. Stay on the train, and we will head to Knightsbridge. Stay on the train. And the next place you go to, it travels for some time. It arrives at Heathrow Central Station and the doors open. A voice on the loudspeaker says, "All change, please." That's your cue to get out. You get out and follow the exit sign. You have reached the airport. Congratulations! You have caught your plane and have brought presents for all of your friends. Press spacebar to continue. And error at line 20, or 120. And that's it. That is London Adventure for the BBC Micro. Fun little game. All you have to do is know how to read a map and a shopping list and keep track of the time, and just be ready to do anything. You probably wondered why I took a taxi to Knightsbridge. Well, that's one way of doing it, but I could have just as easily had taken a train to Knightsbridge via the Piccadilly line. But here's the thing. Taxis can be a bit random, and I wanted to see if I could show that off. Sometimes you may be in a situation where traffic's at a standstill and you may have to get off because you're taking too much time. Sometimes the taxi will get lost and you'll be back where you started, and that'll cost you time and money. But thankfully, everything went the way it should have, so that didn't happen. The bank opens at 9:30 and closes at 5:30. So I had to waste a little bit of time just to get the bank to open, and then I could do what I needed to do. What else did I need to mention? I could have used Selfridges, but thankfully I had just enough money and just enough traveler's checks to make the whole thing worthwhile. I kind of used my traveler's checks a bit smartly, for lack of a better word. I used them a bit wisely so that way I could make it happen and pay for the more expensive items. I'm glad that worked out. And finally, yeah, you can buy the police doll anywhere. You don't have to buy it at Charing Cross, but I did it there anyway just to kill some time until the banks did open. I could have used Selfridges for some of the things, but I was able to buy everything at Harrods. And that's pretty much everything that I wanted to explain that I didn't have time to explain while playing, which I can explain now. Easy game when you know what to do. It's not the best game, though, and I'll explain this during the mini review. Graphics, they don't exist, but what's there, it works. You have different colors for different situations, questions, actions, descriptions of locations, and all that. It's pretty good. It works for this kind of game. It is a text adventure after all. Sound of music, well, there really isn't much of anything. Matter of fact, the graphics seem to wow me more than the non-existent sound of music, but I can't really complain about the lack of sound of music. This is a BBC micro text adventure from 1986. I can't really complain about anything, and I don't have much to say about it at all because, well, it's not there. And it's neither a good thing nor a bad thing. It's just a thing. I do like the trains that you see at the introduction of the game. I do like the trains that you see on the tile screen. Those were pretty cool. That's probably the coolest thing you'll see in the entire game. And I do like how the map was handled. It looks pretty good. I'm glad they were able to utilize different colors for different lines. I mean, it uses all the colors that I believe the BBC Micro could show, and it looks pretty good. Control was good. There were no errors that I could see or find. Everything worked well. Everything was responsive as it should be. I'm glad about that. My only complaint is that the game plays the same way every time, with some minor differences. You may have a different amount of luck with the taxi. Sometimes you may pay £2 for the fare. Sometimes you may pay $3. Sometimes you may pay $4. And once you know the shopping list by heart, you pretty much know what to buy, and you just know how to do things. I wish the shopping list was randomized. It would make for a different game every time, and you could rely on your wits, look at your time carefully, plan everything carefully, and you'll know where everything is, but at the same time, you're not doing the same thing every time you play. So maybe somebody could ask for some music that's available in the UK that nobody could get in the US. I'm assuming that the main character of the game, who you take the role of, lives in the US and is visiting the UK. I mean, you could just find out where the HMV store and go over there. What other examples could I give? You could get a toy from Hamleys. That could be on the shopping list. That'd be cool. But because the shopping list is never randomized, as far as I can tell, every time you play, you never get to go to those shops, and I just feel a little sad about that. It could have made things a little more interesting every time you played, and I'm just a little disappointed they didn't do that. Would have been fun. Which leads to the replay value. Once you played this game once, you played this game 1,000 times, you know what to expect. Especially if you have the guidebook and the tube map copied down. Because you can spend time doing that, reset the game, not have to buy those things, and then you could easily blast through the game. I mean, it's a fun game. I'll give it that. I just wish there was more to it, like a randomized shopping list. Matter of fact, maybe they could have put in a few more locations. I can't think of any off the top of my head. Maybe you can. But a randomized shopping list and maybe a few more locations to make the randomized shopping list a little more worthwhile could have made things work. At least in the replay value department. It would have livened things up a little bit. But what you see is what you get. And while it's fun when you've never played this game before for the first time, and you're trying to figure out what to do, which thankfully isn't that hard, once you beat it, you won't have much of a reason to come back to it because it's so short and, well, because of the problems and that I mentioned before about not having a randomized shopping list, not having enough locations to justify or more than justify a randomized shopping list. So there's that. And is this game worth checking out? Well, it is. I mean, it's a text adventure in the present day. You're going through London. Kind of realistic, kind of relatable. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Your mileage may vary, given that it's a BBC Micro text adventure, but it's worth checking out at least once. At least it does some things right, like time flowing even when you just leave the game running, and there's ways to accidentally trip yourself up, and of course there's the joy of knowing how to get through the tube like a pro, the tube being the subway system in London. For those who didn't figure it out, yeah, they call it the tube. It's all right. But again, I wish there was more to it. So, not a bad game. Could be better in some of the aspects that I've mentioned. But it's quite all right. So, this has been Let's Play London Adventure, released in 1986 by Cambridge ELT Software in cooperation with the British Council. And hopefully I'll be back with another game. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be bad. Maybe it'll be somewhere in between. Who knows? Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care. Stay safe. Thanks for watching, and see y'all later.